What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. It's about shortly after 5. I'm going to get started in about 2.5 minutes. Still working on this e-commerce site. 2.5 minutes. What's up? Oof. It sounds garbagey. There we go. Let me find out what's going on with the audio here. That sounds terrible. Let's just mute that real quick. Check 1, 2. Oh, it sounds like it's coming out of my check. Check 1, 2. That's not good. Hang on. Shh. That's weird. Oh. Well, that's better. Not sure what happened there. Perfect. All right. Let's get the fish back in here. Oops. There is some lawn cutting going on, so disregard that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. I think the camera, let's see. The camera's got to come up a little. I don't know what happened there either. Hold on 1 second. That's a little better. Alright, so where were we? So yesterday I started cleaning up some of these components after watching a couple of videos on how people have structured... Hey, come here. On how people have structured their pages. So I need to fix that. But first... Oh my god, I need to fix him. Want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Why are you wet? Oh, alright, okay. Oh my god. Alright, this isn't gonna work. But you can say hi for a minute, okay? Can you say hi? He just needs a hug. I'm gonna put you down now. I know you don't want to go. Coding cats and coffee, right? He's my coworker, and sometimes he leaves his desk and wanders the office. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Boy. All right. So I'm cleaning up some of these things, which is causing some problems throughout the page. That's okay, because we're going to fix them. And we're going to try to do this properly. So that's what we're going to work on today. Again, this doesn't really have anything to do with the build, per se, on this particular one. But it does help with me learning how to use the program properly, and how to set myself up for future projects. Come here. Ellen. Lay down. Come on, buddy. Lay down. All right. Lay down. Come on, you. Good boy. Let's see here. I see you. I see you. Alright, so it looks like I left off here. And I was working on building the left and right hover states. Which I think I finished. Yeah. And I was on to this one here, which I need to make changes to the corners on. 10, 10, 0. There we go. And this needs to be I know. Lay down. Don't bite me. Lay down. So it looks like what's happening here? Ah, there we go. That box is not fix this. So let's take care of it. let's see if this is... Actually, it's not even in... That's not even in the build. So this one is, however. So let's do... center that. Center is good. And I want this to always be centered. Right? Yeah, perfect. I don't think I'm using these anymore. I was. Do we even still need these? I don't know if we need these anymore. I don't think I need these. I know what I want. I think we need... I think... Let's see. I think I need the corrodor lights behind me. CK5, let's get those going. Is that art? Oh, too bright. Here we go. All right. All right, so these, I don't think we are using these anymore, to be honest with you. I think these were from the original idea of, on the main page, I only had 2 buttons, which was shop earrings and shop necklaces. And that's changed because there also is bracelets. And instead of having 3 buttons across, I just said enter shop. Because we ultimately want to drive people to the shop and not necessarily, we'll let them decide when they get there which products they want. So I may be able to just I'm going to keep them because you never know if we're going to use these somewhere down the line, but I may just wind up getting rid of these later on. So we just minimized the button choices to just enter shop, which is perfect, and that's a clone of that, so that works perfect. Okay, so that we have those, that's fine. There's a couple of more buttons around. Those are icons. I think these are just chilling here. Those were the hover shop left, old hover shop left and right. We can get rid of those. And these we need to add. These are actually the buttons on the shop pages itself. So let's move all of these here. Before I do that, actually, I lose the name, so let me just... shop right hover, how do I name these here? Shop right, shop. Center static, center hover. Alright, so we'll call these store. Store button. Store button selected, earring. I don't necessarily want. See, this is what I did. I made individual buttons for everything. I don't think I need to do that. I think I need to just make one instance, and we reuse that and just change the text, right? That should be how it works. So let's see. Let's clean this up. Actually, probably should do kind of give it a little bit of space here and do the shop sound section, the store section here. So this will be store selected. I think it's just store selected. Yeah, I think that's all we need, store selected. And this we're going to call store label. And we'll do a line to the center. And we want to change the oh, this is an instance of the store button selected. We're gonna break this instance actually. There we go, and we'll create its own instance here in a second. No, actually no. This is just gonna be centered, good. Scale to the center. Let's just make sure that that's okay. Nope, why didn't that work? Center. Oh, it's the center of this whole thing. Yeah, there you go. Should be okay, right? Guess we'll find out. Only one way. So store selected, and then we need the store hover. Let's see. Is this this is the primary button? Okay, so this is what we need here. Let's bring this down. Oh, that's way down. No, I didn't want to go that far. So this is not store selected earring. This is just store selected. Store button selected, and then this is store button hover. And we'll do the same thing. We will make this center. Perfect. And this is going to be center. Good. And this is store hover. Oops. And let's see, do we need anything else? So what did I do here? Store button unselected. We need that. Store button unselected. I'm gonna change this to shop stuff, like the rest. And we need to make this. We need to add this to the kit as well. So let's figure that out. Let me do this first, though. Let's make this Let's make this button. This is store. That's off it. Store. That's like that. Now I'll get rid of primary because I'm not making any other buttons right now. And this is going to be. What did I write here? Store label. Store label. Store label. Perfect. Let's make the changes that we need to. That's fine. And we're going to do center and center. Great. One thing I'm noticing, actually, the hover state on this is not. We're missing the drop shadow on that. So let's come in here and let's add this drop shadow. And we'll call this button drop. So now I can come into this and let's add the button drop. There you go. So I think these are all clones. I may be able to delete these in a second. So let's go. Let's see. Should I fix? I probably should fix the text and put this text into the design system. So Gibson regular. Let's go to the design system. Is it a nav item? No, because that's 18. So let's do. We'll do button. And we will make the fill. Oops, the ivory. Is it the ivory? Should be. Ah, no. We'll just make it white. So it's Gibson regular. This is Gibson light. The button. It's Gibson regular. One other thing we want to do is we want to make sure it's capital. It's text center aligned, no decoration. I think we're good there. And let's make sure we put that forward. So that button now becomes. Oh, did I save it? I don't think I did. So this becomes. What did we want to call this? We wanted this to be button. Let's call it button. Button. Well, that didn't work. Button. Let's change this now. Ah, I see what I did, or didn't do. I didn't create the primary button state. That's what I need to do. So let's do that now. Because right now these are all... Yeah, I created... Alright. So let's make... I did not make a base. Let's detach this. So we're going to break this instance. And we're going to create now its own. And we're going to call this button base. And this actually should be the base for all of the other buttons. Let's make this text style button. Perfect. This should be, all of these should be nested inside actually. So let's, I'm gonna just keep this one off to the side right now because I want to copy the, I'm not sure what I used for this. This instance should be unselected. There we go. Because now whatever changes I make to this, the base, if it needs to be bigger, it'll cascade down to the rest. And that's what I should have done before, but I didn't. So we're going to do that now. Again, we're learning, right? That's what this is all about. We're sitting here working on this, learning together. So let's get rid of that. And let's drop this into hover. The rectangle should be ivory. I'm sorry, the rectangle should be time. The text should be white. Delete those two. Why is this? No, I didn't want that. I wanted the base. What's going on here? Store selected. No, I know what I did. I can't. All right. I meant to grab the base. I grabbed the store selected. So it was a nest inside of it. It's like an inception. It was a nest inside of a nest. I didn't want that. Let's do hover. This rectangle becomes time. Label becomes white. And we can delete this now. Button base. That's what I want. We want the base to be the main component. And one more. Drag a copy of this. And this is the unselected. Into unselected. Store label is AC, so I may have a gray. Oh, I'm not using that. So let's add this. We'll call this, let's go to, yeah, you know what, whatever. AC. And the background, I think, should probably just be the gray. Nope, BD. Now, what the heck is this? Man, I'm making a mess. I'm making a usual. Oh, what do we got here? According to Bo. What's up, according to Bo? Bo says, interesting to see how you approach designing this. I know. I usually never bother blocking out all the hover states, etc. in the XD sketch. So, Bo, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. My background is motion graphic design. So moving to web design and doing this, the very first thing I think about is, oh, how is this going to animate? What's this going to look like? Which is probably the horrible way to approach a web design project. It's just, I've been doing motion design for over 10 years and it's ingrained in how I visualize things. So it makes it very difficult for me to do a complete static site and not think about how it's going to animate. So the first thing I do is I'll throw a picture and a button in there and I'll be like, all right, what's this going to look like when it's in hover state, or what is it going to look like when it's actually animated? So it's now I'm kind of just back building all this stuff, and as I'm designing on air for you guys, off camera, I've been watching a lot of tutorials and just following along with people as they're building, and I'm picking up little tips and tricks that they do to build their components and buttons and how they lay out their pages. So now I'm kind of going back and fixing all of that stuff. What you're seeing right now is kind of the build in the component section here. I have all of the stuff built inside the page already as I'm working through this, and I'm kind of having that like shiny object syndrome where I'm building and learning and then going back to the build and trying to apply the stuff that I've learned and moving forward, and then learning more and going back and trying to fix it. So this is the second project that I'm working on, two projects simultaneously inside of Figma. It's the very first time I'm using Figma, so I'm learning to build two projects at the same time. I'm streaming this one particular one. The second one I'm also working off camera. So there's this little bit of jumping back and forth all over the place, and I welcome people like yourself to join and offer any learnings that they have while using these programs to help. So the plan is we're going to learn Figma here, we're going to get this page design, and then I'm going to move this over to Webflow and I'm going to build out the actual page. Webflow, I've been working with Webflow a little longer. I've never really wireframed out sites before in something like Figma or Sketch or XD. So it's interesting to go backwards just to work moving forwards. So you don't build your hover states in the wireframing state. What do you do? Do you just block everything out as a static and then you move forward to the development of the site, and that's when you add your interactions and your states? How do you approach that? And what do you use for wireframing? Have you used Figma at all? So I messed this up. The actual frame is outside of, the element is actually outside the frame itself. So I just have to fix that, which is easy to do if you remember the shortcut keys to do it. I wrote a mixin in SCSS a while ago. That tint stuff based on elevation. Whoa, it will lighten and darken elements depending on that. I sort of pick the base color scheme and the rest happens via scripts. Interesting. That's actually really cool. So based off of elevation, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, so hover is elevation plus one. So there's base one, two, three, depending on the stacking of the elements that go over top. So for example, if it was a mail program, like an inbox, the background is kind of flat, right? So that's base. And then level one would be like if you are hovering over the message, and then when you click on a message, maybe it'll pop up kind of over top of that, and that will everything gets lighter depending on how far away from the base it is. Right, it's conceptual. Yep, correct. Yep, exactly. So imagine it's stacked panes and light sources at the viewer, so the elements are further away, it's darker, which is just the conceptual layers. Now, do you do any of the actual development, or do you kind of just conceptualize the whatever it is that you're building and you pass it off to a developer? Oh man, I messed these up big time. But that's all right, we'll fix it. Base, hover, and I think we're back to okay. According to Bo says I'm actually, you know what? Let me just push these so you can see here. I'm mainly a developer, so I don't have any formal training as a designer, and it shows. But we have no designer, so I'm the guy. So you kind of just. You're thrown into the thick of it, so that's pretty good on the job training and learning, which is always good. So my experience is backwards. I'm a designer first, and later in life was learning the development side of things. Actually, way back in the early 2000s, I was hand coding everything, which made it difficult. Now there's sites, things like Dreamweaver and Webflow and all these other programs that you can easily code in. But back in the day, you hard coded everything. You're currently progressing from the 960 grid into fluid grids now, experimenting. Very cool. So I will show you how Figma handles some of the states. Actually, now that I broke the states, I should probably fix them. Well, let's just see if it works. No, it actually works. There we go. So that's what a hover state would look like in this instance here. And these hover states for the items as well. And I think the shop is. So these are the ones that I had to fix. I just created that single button instead of making every instance of these buttons. So we're going to go back and fix those, which should be fairly easy to do. All right. Bo, do you stream at all when you are working? So, according to Bo saying, you have such a good eye for spacing between your sections. I still struggle with poor proportions. You tend to oversize a bit. So, when you're designing, well, first and foremost, what are you using? Are you just hard coding everything right off the bat and then viewing it after you do that? Because what I find is, especially for something like this, for Figma or Sketch or XD or any of these, Photoshop, however you want to use it, it's very easy to set up your main grid, right? So you enter your main grid here, and what I started to do was work off of an 8-point grid system and moving everything just, off of that. As I see, I actually may have moved some stuff here by accident while I was mucking about, but that's all right. We can fix that. Actually, if I do that, that's going to break all of this, so I'm not going to fix that. So I'll set my columns, my main columns up off of 12, and then everything I'll work off of is just off of 8s. And then as far as sectioning these things go, I'm kind of just eyeballing it for what I feel looks decent or works for me. And then I'll adjust it as I go. So there's a lot of this back and forth. So you're using XD, blocking out your grid, and then trying to size things in some kind of ratio off the column width. Okay. But where are you struggling with that? Where are you having problems? When you put it down and then you look at it and you say, that's too big. Are you doing, before you do anything else, are you laying everything out as just blocks of gray, like a grayscale, like a true lo-fi wireframe? Because I'm at the point in this project where I've actually started incorporating images. But when you actually build this stuff out, are you doing it in like really lo-fi designs? Because that also helps. So what I mean by that is drag actual images and stuff in. Yeah, so practice. Do a practice one of this. Do something like this where you create your frame. Let's just say this was your frame. Come in here and actually make everything just really lo-fi. Like, let's say, okay, this is your, that's a big header, so we're not gonna use that. So let's just say, you know, this is your header, and then you have an image here, and let's just make this whatever. I'm just gonna make this rectangular. All right, so then you work off of this. I'm literally throwing the stuff down really quickly, and then I'll just throw in some text, lines like this. Actually, not even like that. I'll use lines. I'll come in here. Ooh. And we'll throw in, where did that go?
This song is a special dedication.
Let's see. Let's make this a little bigger.
3 friends.
Let's change this angle.
Melissa and Adrian. We humbly apologize.
So, doing it like that. Just really, really rough outlining your whatever it is that you have. Then you can go back in and build it to scale, drop your images in there. But once you have the actual lo-fi wireframing, this is a really, really quick way to visualize the spacing between things. And when you put your grids in, if you were to put your grid system into this frame, it'll help you lay everything out. So if I go, here's my 12 column grid. Now it's like, okay, well, this is off the column. So we'll just move this in. We'll group these, kind of move this in here. That worked. I got lucky there. And, just when I using the points of 8, here's some more stuff, recent work in progress stuff. The row heights and the buttons feel a bit dimensioned. I think maybe it's because I'm not basing your content around the type. Well, let's check it out. Let's see. Let me pull this up here. Let's see. So we're looking at Welcome to Invictus, right? A mythical guide with a friendly schedule. Let's see if I can push this. Does this work here? And let's show the tertiary display. Let's see if that works. There we go. It's for a WoW guild that you've left, but that's not important. Okay. So what is it? So where do you feel like, okay, so like when you're looking at like apply now and how it's almost to the edges, is that what you're talking about? Learn more button, that's spaced fine. The Loktar Ogar Traveler, Welcome to Invictus, a mythical guide with friendly schedule. The visual hierarchy on there could be, you could tighten that up a little bit more. So, I'm not going to do it on this. It's more of a, this is more of, I guess, a design approach to thing. A design approach, which you have already stated that you are not a designer by trade. So, you know, if you look at this, and even though you're not a designer, if you look at this and you say to yourself, this something could be fixed. Let me freaking change love you. Hold on a second, because this is, in this context, I'm trying to talk to you, and Fishman is playing a vacuum cleaner right now. It's a little on the annoying side. So we'll get right to chalk dust. When you, even though you're not a designer, you know that there's something a little off or not right about this. Two things you could do. One, look at it and say, okay, what is it about this that I'm not really feeling, or there's something I feel like something is off, and then go and change that and change these things until you feel like, okay, it looks good. The second thing is like what you're doing right now. You're sharing it with somebody and saying, hey, take a look at this and tell me what you think. Where do you think it could look better, or what is it that you think I could do to improve this? There's many places that you can go to do that, like dribble.com, for example, or I think it's dribble.com, but Dribble will, you can put stuff out there and you can get feedback. Doing something like you have here and finessing it just a little bit will make all the difference in the world. So I probably would have moved a mythical guild with a friendly schedule up a little, right? So you move that a little bit closer to Welcome to Invictus, just because that visual hierarchy, you want to kind of block these things together so that it reads nice and it's not as separated as it is now. And then for things like the Apply Now button, going into it, if you in your mind as you're building these things, you want to put some sort of padding around each of these elements. So the Apply Now, when you built it, you probably could have done perfectly fine with taking some padding and putting it on the left and right of Apply Now. The top and bottom is fine because it's the same height as the Learn More, but the padding between the Learn More, from the start of Learn More to the bounds of the button box, you don't necessarily need to put that much to the Apply Now. I mean, you certainly could and see what it looks like, but you definitely want to put some padding on the left and right of the Apply Now word, which would push the button out to the side more, and it would feel, there would be more breathing room around, and it would feel better. Same thing with the square button at the Apply Now. Let's see, more like this. Let's take a look. Are you making these changes on the fly here? Let's see. Yes, you are. Yes. Yeah, see? So when you look at this, how how does it feel to you? I noticed something right away, but I'm a little more anal when it comes to design. The apply now doesn't actually look centered. It actually looks optically. It may be centered on there, but optically, I don't think it's centered. It probably apply now could come down, probably like 1 or 2 pixels. But again, that's number one. It's hard to tell because it looks like it's a screenshot that's on here, and two, it just feels optically it's a little bit higher. The baseline's a little bit higher, and then we'll learn more. But when you look at this, does it feel a little better to you compared to this one here? So Bo says, I think you get tripped up with not being consistent enough about giving enough. Yeah. Yeah, you totally could. It feels less cramped. Right. Yeah, so where you had it to where you have it now is a big difference. Less cramped. There's a lot of theory. So when it comes to web design, not only do you have the actual building of the websites, but then you have the actual design of the website, and then there's the theory behind why things are designed the way they are. I am not an expert on any of that stuff because I have, again, traditionally, I have been a designer and a motion graphic designer before I was a web designer. But in this particular instance, your call to action, you want people to join the site or apply or learn more. I would probably make those buttons a little bit bigger because that's what you want them to do. You want them to take action. So those action buttons probably should be a little bigger. The Welcome to Invictus, a mythical guide with a friendly schedule, the size of it is a little bit more on par with the is it Loktar Ogar Traveler? So that probably could be a little smaller, and the buttons could be a little bigger. But that feels so much better than this first one here. Totally. That was a good update. It's crazy how small things just throw it all off. 100% true. Yeah, and you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that it throws it off. What it means is, even though people aren't necessarily designers, they do look at something, and if something looks wrong or off, they'll pick up on it. And if something as small as breathing room around text, they may not be able to articulate it, but designers have designed that in a way that people who are not designers, when they look at it, they know from experience that it feels better with the space around it. So when they don't see that space, when they don't see things that they're used to, it looks off to them, or it looks wrong, or it looks incorrect. Everyone has seen good design so many times they know. It's true. So it's, these are the things that you can take with you when you're designing whatever it is you want to design. And that's how you're going to learn. That's how you're going to get better at what you're doing. Because now, when you make your next button, you already remember that this doesn't feel right because there's not enough space around it. I need to put more padding around this button. So now all of your buttons will get that much better the next time you do it. And that goes true for anything else that you're designing as well. As you look at other people's websites or other people's designs, you will start to understand, and you'll start to recognize and notice the things that feel good and that look right. And you will carry that over to the stuff that you're designing. So look at things with a designer's eye. Even though you say you're not a designer, you've done this and this looks really good. So observe and look at what other people are doing. take mental notes at when you see a website that you like. Say to yourself, why do I like this? What feels good about this? Why is this designed well? And break it down. Start breaking it apart. Save that website so that you can go back to it and use it as reference. And then you will start to carry that stuff over into the things that you're building. You will start to develop an eye for design. You'll start to develop a sense for what works, what doesn't work, why, and your designs will get that much better. So don't just dismiss it as I'm not a designer, so I'm going to keep it that way, because you could learn to be a better designer by learning what's, I don't want to say right and wrong, but what looks good and what doesn't look good, and you avoid doing the things that don't look good. That's all I can say about that one. Yeah. Does that make sense? I just looked at my Figma and I was like, what the hell did I do? I totally forgot. Totally forgot what I was doing. Right. Approach it as something that you can learn, practice. That's it. That's all it is. Repetition and just looking at things in a different way and processing it in a different way so that you start to learn why you're doing it this way or why you should do it this way. I think I need to fix my buttons now. Back to the buttons. I need to fix buttons. Hey, there we go. Did I make this a component? No, I did not. So let's do that. Let's fix this. Let's make this a component. First, let me put the new buttons in there. Then we'll make it a component. And let's go to the assets. Let's go to buttons, store, and we'll bring in a shop stuff. And we'll bring in 1, 2, 3 of the not shop stuff. And so what I'm doing right now is I am bringing in the instances of the buttons that we just created, and we're going to perfect. I just want to make sure that they're aligned. We're going to delete that, and this is going to cause a problem. Actually, where did I put that? There we go. And we're gonna make this a component. We're gonna say this is going to be we'll call this shop nav. Yeah. And oh man, did I delete that? So all stuff I'm breaking stuff. Breaking everything, ruining it all. Let's back this up a second. Never mind. I broke it a long time ago. So base. This is going to be, man, I really broke this pretty bad. All the prototyping stuff is gone too. So shop all. This was shop earrings. And this was shop bracelets, I think. Doesn't matter. Shop bracelets. And the last one was shop earrings. And shop not earrings, necklaces. There we go. And one thing I do want to do is... Hey, come here. Come on. Oliver. Hold on a second before my cat goes behind my desk. Come here, bear. Here we go. All right. You gonna sit with your brother? Hmm? You sit with your brother? Yeah, good boy. You sit here with your brother? Or are you gonna be a troublemaker? No? You gonna sit over here? No? You didn't want to stay. Oh well. So there's one thing with these buttons that I'm not 100% sure of. There's got to be a way to do it. I've messed around with it and did it by accident. And that is to... Oliver Jones. That's to automatically add the padding to these as they as you type out. The background will automatically adjust. Will move with it, and I think. I guess I've got to learn it right. I got to play with it. I have to do it right the first time, and that's it. So I think if I make, let's do it to the main button, and I should change this. This should be base. That's not the selected. So this is the base. This is where everything else follows. Yeah. So let's do it to this. So I want, this is centered. So as I type, I want to set the padding to the rectangle. So actually what I want to do is, yeah, all right, let's learn how to do this first before I go and pin this anywhere. I think what I need to do is, let me see if I did this right. So if I group these two, right, and then see if I don't know if I need to group it, but let's see. If I group it and I make this a vertical, and I want let's just say 5% padding. Yeah, okay. Let's make it 10. So now, let's see if this works. It does. All right, that's what I want. Perfect. However, if I want it to expand from the center, no, this is fine. This is actually fine. So then if I come in here, yeah, that's perfect. Nailed it. So the only thing that's broken now is the spacing between all of these, right? That's the only thing that's broken. So how do I auto fix the bounding box of each button? And let's make these, let's distribute these the way that they're supposed to be. Now that I think about it, how did the unselected? Well, let's see. Let's change this here. this should not be, this actually should be unselected, but why did the base button, what happened here? How did this change? That's what I want to know. Why did all of these change color? They should not have changed color. It removed... That's interesting. It removed the rectangle and just made the frame this ivory color, which we don't want. So let's see if I can... Let's see if I fix that. So that's the fill, which I think the fill was AC, 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 AC. And the frame is supposed to be BD, 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 BD. That's right. And then this button's frame is not supposed to be ivory. It is supposed to be time. Now let's see if that worked. Okay. That worked. So this, let's delete these. This, and this. And let's put, well, first of all, let's make sure that this is centered. Actually, well, I think I can just hit this. There we go. Good. 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 Perfect. And this is the shop earrings, so let's swap these components. This button base is supposed to be unselected, and the shop earrings will be selected. Great. This one is the bracelets, so shop all should be unselected, and the shop bracelets should be selected. And then the necklaces, same thing, shop all is supposed to be unselected, and the shop necklaces will be, whoops. Shop necklaces will be selected. Okay. So now that we have that, let's, this is where my motion ADD gets the best of me, right? Because I still have a ton of other things to fix, but now I'm like, all right, I fixed these buttons. Now let's prototype these and let's get these working. When something could happen and I need to change that, tomorrow for all I know. So according to Bo says, so do you do everything, design and code? Yes, I do. Which is what I'm going to do with this particular project. Once I'm done with this particular wireframing, I'm going to bring it into Webflow, and I'm going to actually build out the site as well. So I'm going to just continue the process in the series from wireframing to coding and launch. This is the first time I'm actually going to launch an e-commerce site, which will be interesting. Which will be interesting to see how that goes. But it'll be fun. Right? And hopefully people who are familiar with Webflow and people who are familiar with building e-commerce pages on Webflow will help and chime in when needed. So let's do this. Let's prototype this out and let's get this. Let's get this going. Did I break something here? I didn't. So Bo says, I think your background is pretty great for entering the industry now, by the way. Stuff is becoming more skeuomorphic, yep, and rich media instead of flat, yep. The neomorphic, even that is like really cool. But that's another, that's like psychology on design as well too, which is pretty heavy to get into. But having a motion background is definitely very, very helpful in terms of building interactivity on a site. And there are so many plugins and programs that easily allow you to do motion on sites now. As somebody who has worked in After Effects for over 10 years, being able to build my animations in After Effects and then export those as Lottie files to bring into Webflow when I'm building a page, it's so nice. And it was not there 3, 4, or 5 years ago, and it just makes my life so much easier because I can animate in CSS when I need to, when I do my overlays and stuff like that. For example, I built those animations in CSS. I would just much rather have the flexibility and ease of use in After Effects to build out my designs and bring those in that way, just because I can do that stuff with my eyes closed in After Effects, where I have to use a little bit more brain power to build it out in CSS. But it's possible. I know it's possible. It's just easier for me to do it in After Effects. So what did I do here? I really messed things up. I broke a lot of the stuff, which is kind of stupid, but that's all right. I wouldn't be surprised if 5 or 10 years down the line, most product type pages are all rich interactive. Yeah, and more static pages will only be served for slower connections. Too much motion, too much interactivity, I think is not necessarily a good thing. But I do agree with you. I think there is, I don't know how old you are, but back in the day when web pages were easily buildable, I say easily, back then it was easily buildable. You didn't need to go to a company, but when you had the pages like, what was it, like GeoCities and Angel Fire and all those, there was rich media was everywhere, and there was spinning text and crazy stuff all over the page. Not necessarily we're heading in that direction or back to that direction, but adding nice subtle movements and adding 3D parallaxing as you're scrolling through web pages, that stuff is really picking up more today than it has before, and gone are the days of just kind of flat pages. You were there for the gaudy 90s? Okay. Yep. So I don't want to say that stuff is coming back, but the rich media part and having things that are tastefully elements of interactivity and motion are definitely very present in today's web design. Seeing more and more interesting background. Yep. Yeah. I mean, loading pages and just clicking transitions between pages. There's some really, really beautiful pages that are out there that are designed really well and use animations and interactivity very, very tastefully. Is it translating to mobile? I don't know. I see it more for desktop than I do for mobile stuff. But I think that the interactivity on mobile isn't quite there yet. I don't think so anyway. There are some designers that do a really phenomenal job with it. It's really hard though, just because you're working with a different, the specs itself is different and the limitations are not really there, but I think you have more of a playing field on the desktop. But there are some really nice interactions and transitions on mobile too. All right, let's try to fix what I seriously messed up. Where are my hovers? Oh, I have to redo those. No, see, this is where I messed up. I messed up with this because I had individual. Well, I guess I could no. This is a mess. This is a pure freaking mess. So what did I do here? How did I can change the label on this, but how did I mess this up? Oh my god, this is a disaster. Let's see it. Let's try it. We're gonna prototype. The main starting page is gonna be static 01. We'll do static alt 01A. And let's just see. Hi! Welcome back! Good boy. Alright, now I have both boys on the side of me. Okay. So, yeah, that's broken. That's badly broken. The parallaxing on the header on this page is a really cool example. So, stackblitz.com. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at stackblitz.com. Stackblitz.com, and I'll share this before we launch it. Here we go. Ah, look at that. Did that change? Did the, I thought the lighting changed. Oh. Nice. There's some shooting stars in here. You've got the, stars kind of getting twinkling there. So I'm not seeing the parallaxing. Is that because I'm on Safari? I wonder if... So on your resolution, the text dips down behind the horizon instead of front of it. So I'm actually... I wonder if this is a Safari thing where it's not doing that. So I'm not getting the parallaxing on here. In fact, it's actually kind of doing this really weird breaking. You can see like there's this blue bar here. I don't know if you can see that on the stream, but it's doing something funky. Let me see. See, Safari's good for some things, it's not good for other things. So let's see what this looks like on... Let's see what this looks like on Chrome here. Little lizards, early mid-90s lizards. I'm loving it. It's taking a minute to load here. So let's see what this looks like on Chrome, shall we? Yeah, look at that. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't do that on Safari. That's weird. But that's nice. That's subtle. Look at that. Even the planet is on its own plane. It's got its own Z index on that. Some of these mountains do too. That's nice. It's subtle. It's really nice. It's not in your face. Let's see if this one did anything. Nope, that's just the astronauts floating. Yeah, that looks really good. That's a really nice subtle break on that. I like that a lot, actually. Hey, where'd my Figma go? Why did this... Come on, man. Why did this take up all my stupid screen here? Let's bring that back. There we go. Well, I don't even know what the hell just happened. I lost my screen for a second there. Well, that's messed up. All right, I'm back. Get rid of Chrome there. All that does is slow me down. Perfect. All right, so we need to fix these interactions. This is all broken. So our hovers. Well, let's fix the main hover here. Let's fix the main one. First, I actually want to see where these are actually supposed to be hovering to, because now they're all gone. They're all broken. I really did a number on this. That's okay. We can fix this. This is not broken. So click. This is going to shop static necklaces. So this label should say necklaces, shop necklaces. Oh, I don't know what that language is. Perfect. And oh, because I'm in prototype, that's why. This one's going to all. So this should say shop all hover. Shop all. And where's this going? This one's going back to bracelets. So this should say shop bracelets. And how about this one? This was probably earrings. It's the only one left. Yep, shop earrings. Okay. Let's see if that worked. Of course, I didn't connect it. It needs to connect it here. So this is shop earring. This has got to be this. So on, while hovering, open overlay, instant. Okay, and the shop necklaces, shop bracelets. On, while hovering, open overlay manually. Good. And necklaces. While hovering. Open overlay. Alright. Let's try that now. Earrings, bracelets, necklaces. Perfect. That works. We have to do that for all the pages. Bo asks, what is your take on adding subtle textures to your surfaces instead of leaving them as solid? I do like textures on surfaces, whether it's a gradient. Oh, my cat's gonna roll off. What are you doing, buddy? You're gonna roll off here. Okay. Adding textures to individual elements, I think, when done tastefully, looks really good. Whether it is some sort of pattern or gradient, I think in moderation, I think it looks good. I think it just depends on the brand. It depends on the company. It depends on the site that you're designing for. In this instance, for this particular store, my personal take on this is flat is better because it's an e-commerce site. It's a jewelry site, and I didn't want to. I just kind of wanted to keep that stuff flat and let the jewelry really do all of because the jewelry is full of texture. It's got, some of the beads are glistening and shiny, and I didn't want to do that to the solids, the buttons or anything else. I just kind of wanted to leave them flat and let the design of the jewelry take care of all the textures. Because you can see this is a very texture heavy, the jewelry is very texture heavy. And I did not want to do that on these pieces here. So, design pending. I like adding textures to solids when needed. So how did I have this set up? Because now I broke it. This. So this, let's do. Are these all? What? I did it once and it did it for all of it, huh? Fantastic. However, why is it not? Oh, I didn't even try clicking it. Let's see how these things are. Oh man, this is all a mess. See how these things are all moving all over the place? That should not be happening. What is going on? This is mind-boggling. What did I do? I did something. I messed something up here. Shop necklaces. That's just broken. Woof. Oh man, I really messed up. But not here because the contrast emphasizes the product. Yes, 100%. That's why I don't want to do it on this. That's why I would not do it on this page. All right, so do you see here what's going on here? As I'm clicking these things, this is happening where this I know why that happened, but if I click on bracelets and earrings, these two are swapping back and forth like this, right? That should not be happening. You should not be seeing this. So this has to do, I believe this has to do with a layering issue. I had this happen before with see, this one's actually, this isn't even the right spot. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if I missed this. I don't know what the heck happened here. So let's get rid of this. And let's put let's see if that fixed that. Yeah, that worked. Okay. But these things should not be shifting. I don't know what's going on there. So let's look. So for Alt All, we have the shop nav at the top. And it's the base. Unselected, unselected, unselected. Earrings. Okay, that's why. So this should be base. Unselected, unselected, unselected. Just like this is here. And that's why it's breaking this. So I need to go back and let's make this. Nope, that's base. So this, I should not have swapped out the instances, and that's what's, whoops, that is what's breaking this right now. So if I make this base again, but I come in here to the frame, and I change the frame to, where am I? Frame, I think the frame was, I'm gonna have to add that, aren't I? Frame was, what did we say it was? I think BD. And the text is, let's see. Now I think that should not move around. Okay. It flashes because it's not the same on all of them. So that's what happened. So I changed the components when I should not have. These should have all stayed as base, and I should have just changed it should be the same structure as the first one, and I just changed the color. So that was learning experience. I think it's, the original is what? I think it's, did I say it was base and they were all unselected after that? Base and all unselected. So this should be base and all unselected. That should be base. And this one should be, oops. This one should be unselected. Okay. See, that stinks. I can't swap out the instances. I think that's a limitation with Figma right now. I can't change the instance because when I do the prototyping, when you do prototyping, it does that jump around. And it makes it break like that. So I have to manually change these to be the colors that they're supposed to be. So this should be white, and the frame should be so wait, this is selected. This is selected, so it should be bark, not white. Bark. There we go. And then this is the bracelets. So base. Change this to unselected. Now I have to change this back. So this is like, actually what I could do here is, I think, let me just check. So if I copy this, can I paste it here? Paste. That's pasting up there. I don't want it to paste up there. Why is that doing that? Let's see. Oh. Okay. It's doing that because it's breaking it out of the component that I built. So manual it is. So the fill is BD. And then this is EC. We're on the bracelets one, so the bracelets is going to be the frame is ivory. The text is bark. There we go. And let's do the last one, the necklaces. And it's supposed to be base, unselected all around. Perfect. Last time, change the frame. I really should add that freaking, those two gray colors to the color scheme, but right now I'm being lazy, which is stupid because it's costing me the time to go this. And the necklace. The frame. Yep. Frame is ivory. Text is... according to Bo, you're off to Dreamland. I appreciate you hanging out and having a chat and interacting. So thank you very much. Typically, I try to stream first thing in the morning here, probably like 7 a.m. Eastern, and I'm back on at 4:30, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern as well. My camera just cut out, but I am here. So if you'd like, give me a follow so you can be notified when I join. I appreciate it. Thanks for interacting with me as I'm doing this. There we go. Thank you so much for following, Bo. I appreciate it. Off to Dreamland for you. And oh, that's supposed to be white, right? Nope, that's supposed to be bark. Thank you, thank you. I've been working on this for a month, so I'll be working on it again. I'm sure for the next, I'll be in Figma for at least the next week or two, and then I'm going to move over to Webflow to build it. We really want to get this up and running before the holiday. So that's the goal, is to get this up and running before the holiday. So we'll see. So there'll be plenty more to check out for sure. All right, so now this is working better. Shop necklaces, shop bracelets, shop earrings. Much better. Let me just connect the shop all, and I'm going to call it a night from there, because it is dinner time. I guess this is the shop all, so let's connect. What is this? This is... Where the hell is that going? What is that? Oh, that's the old page. Let's do... I'm missing the hover for shop all too. I noticed that. So maybe this... I should bring in the shop all asset, actually. Button. No, I need the hover. I need a hover. I need the base hover. Let's bring this over here. Shop earrings. Let's break that into action. This is going to be shop all hover. Shop all. And this will be the hover state for shop all. So let's see here. Base. Let's bring this all the way over here. Shop all on hover. We're going to open the overlay. Let's see how that looks. Perfect. Let's do the same thing here. While hovering, it is going to be store button hover. And last one. Hover. And we're going to open shop all. Let's just see if that works now. Hover, hover, hover. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so we didn't break too much. Perfect. Oh, I do have to fix. Okay, so I actually, one last thing we need to do here is fix this, because this is the old one still. We're gonna delete that. And this is, what is this, earrings? Yeah. So we'll copy, paste. Now it should work. So let's see. Shop bracelets. So necklace, bracelets. I don't like that the necklaces are just popping there. They're not sliding over like they should. We'll fix that. We'll fix that tomorrow. Add it to the list. So shop earrings. Now see, that broke. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. It did not break. There we go. Okay. Great. So that shop all needs to go. So do I not have... So this goes to here. Oh, I did not click on... Okay. So I need this to go here on click. Navigate to shop static. All right, let's try that now. Ooh. Shop earrings, shop all. Shop earrings. Click on that. Okay. Shop all. And it goes back there. Okay. Bracelets. Shop all. Perfect. All right. So that works. So today we cleaned up some of the components. We made a single component for each of these shop buttons, and we built in the ability to have the width expand based on how long the label is, and we updated that across the shop nav. So I think that's overall, I think that was a good day. Thank you guys for joining. According to Bo, thank you very much for hanging out and chatting with us tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope to catch you tomorrow on the next stream. Alrighty. Ooh, I'm gonna leave you with a 95 Harry Hood. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for sharing in the groove.
Butter. Thank you, Mr. Butter. Thank you, Mr. Butter. Thank you, Mr. Butter.